everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be reviewing Heat of the Everflame, which is the third book in the Kindred Saga. So it's been a few days since I finished the book. And I should have done this video when it was like more fresh in my mind. But I'm pretty sure I can remember the main points of this book. And first off, the ending is just a heartbreaker. And I need the fourth book, but we still don't have a release for the fourth book. So, waiting on that. But the third one was absolutely fantastic. It was definitely the longest of the three so far. But I loved everything. I mean, the slow burn still in this is intoxicating. You do finally get to see Luther and DM together for it to just be ripped away from you. So there's that. But yeah, so basically the beginning of the third book starts off pretty much where the second one left off. So DM was captured by the Guardians, and then she's brought into a different territory. I don't know, I can't really pronounce, at least I pronounce it how I think it's pronounced in the book, but I'm not entirely sure if it's right, so I'm gonna call it a territory. So she's brought to a different territory than her own. And basically the Guardians want to use her to get her mother, because her mother got caught and is now in prison awaiting trial. And I guess they can't like execute her without a majority vote. And so far, there's not a majority vote. So her mother is safe right now, but DM just wants to figure out a way to get out of captivity and back to Luther and her found family, and then to get her mother out of prison. But it's about almost halfway through the book before you get back to Luminos, and you're only in Luminos for a short time in the book. So this book is basically the exploration of the Amerian continent. So you get to go to almost all of the territories except for I think there's one that she doesn't go to. Two. There might be two that she doesn't go to. But because the forging ritual in the second book to get her coronated was never finished, the forging magic that has the borders to all these territories and only allows certain magic to be done in the territories. So for example, if you're from Luminos and you travel to Fortos, you cannot use your magic unless the king or the queen allows it. And how they allow it is they go into the forging magic and release you. But because the forging ritual was never completed, so like for example, Luther and I think it's Alex and Tarnan, they are able to use their magic off and on. It just comes and goes, and it's because the forging magic is breaking down. So yeah, so eventually DM gets rescued by Luther, Alex, and Taryn. Taran, however you pronounce his name. I think I did Taran. I think. I don't know. Taran. Taran. Sorry. And so they decide to travel through Ignos into Umbros because they get chased by guardians who are trying to kill them after like they escape and they rest for a night. They get caught. But there's a problem. Taran gets stabbed twice with a godstone, which godstone for a descended is lethal pretty much. Like at some point you will die. What DM does not know until they get to Umbros is that Luther also got stabbed. And he got stabbed to the point that he thought there was no point, and he wanted her to focus on Taran. So he kept it from her, which in that way, he's like pulling away from her and all this other stuff, even though like her and him have decided that they're gonna be together, and then he pulls away from her, and it's just, so that's like the back and forth. She finds out later, of course, and then she's distraught, and then that's how they like leave Umbros to get back to Luminos. So like we got to meet the kings and queens in the last book, but we really got to sit and meet them in this one. So Ignos, I don't like him. That king, he can die. Fortos, don't like him. He did die. And the Umbros queen, I really like her. But then Ignos kills her at the end. But Ignos is gonna die because Umbros had Godstone nails and scratched him. So there's a whole thing. But like, the moment I found out that Luther, like, and I kind of figured, like, through as we kept going, I kind of figured that Luther, like, was stabbed with Godstone, and I was like, no, he cannot die. We cannot go this route. There's no way he dies. This is supposed to be like a love story with twists and turns in between of the story. And he can't die. And I love him. So he ends up not dying. She's able to cure him. But here's what's funny. She cured Taran. I can never say that right. She cured Taran, but it was with her blood. And she doesn't realize this until Sophos. And that's when it clicks. Because she thought it was this potion that she got during her like the Ascension Ball and all these gifts, but really like she gave him the drink, but then she also had cuts on her hand, and so blood went into Luther's wound. And her blood was what cured Luther. So she figures that out at the end, that it's her blood that cures it. She also, as you find out through the book, she is not only the Luminos queen, she gets chosen to rule Fortos after she kills the king in self-defense. She also gets another crown, and I forget what this territory is called. But it's ruled by a council as well. So they are like self-sufficient, but she's got that crown. So she's got 3. Then when Ignos kills the Umbros queen, she gets her crown. So she got 4. She'll probably get Ignos's crown too as soon as he dies. But we have a slight problem. When her blood dropped on the Heartstone in the 2nd book and cracked it, she also let out her father, that she finds out later is her father. Because they learn in Umbros that there is a very powerful descendant that is helping the Guardians, but this descendant basically, like, he's evil, obviously, and he wants all the descended dead for what was done to him. He's using the mortals. He's not, like, trying to help them. He's playing it off as that, but that's not true at all. Well, she sees him for the first time by going through the forging magic in the territory that she goes to after coming back from Fortos to Luminos to try to bring her mother back. But then Luther's father kind of does an uprising, and so she and Luther and her mother can't stay in Luminos, so they have to leave. So they stay in another territory that I guess ends up being her territory because she's the queen. And that's when she finds out who the guy is, and he marks her and says, "You ever do this again and I will kill you." So she like drops it, figures out where they're at, all that kind of stuff. And then that's when like her mother is dumbstruck because her mother killed him. So in the next chapter, I think after that, her mother explains the story of how she met him, what happened, and why DM is alive. And she fell in love with him being on the island for emissions because, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name. So he's basically there's a 10th territory, and he is the king of that territory. And he was imprisoned by Umbros and another crown. And so he wasn't able to leave. So he was alone, he was this, he was that. Well, I'm going to say he acted like he loved DM's mother. So that way he could get offspring to release him. Because as soon as DM was born and her mother went to go forage or do something or whatever, she came back. And I don't remember if she came back because she had a bad feeling or if she forgot something, but she saw DM's father standing over her with a blade. So DM's mother put a godstone dagger in his heart. So she thought he was dead. Apparently, he can't die from godstone, which is very interesting. And yeah, so he's helping the mortals, and DM finally knows that he's her father, and they end up going to Sophos. They stay there. She helps with an attack from the Guardians and her father. And basically, like, the Sophos crown says that they're indebted to her or whatever, but really, like, she the Sophos crown allows Luther and DM to use the library for a couple days. Lets DM read whatever they want, being undisturbed, all that kind of stuff. When really, the Sophos crown was trying to find something else to trap her. Which is where we're at in the end. And DM makes a bonded bargain with the Sophos crown, and basically it's to kill her father. And if she doesn't kill her father, she loses her magic. And what happens is they bind DM to that island, and the only people that are allowed to go to the island are the crowns. So anybody else that touches the island dies. And if a Gryvern flies anywhere near it within a radius of some sort, like over it or anything, they die. Not just if they touch the ground. They fly anywhere in the vicinity of the island, they die. So there's that. So like, so they bring her brother. So her brother ends up being in Sophos because the regent, Remus and Luminos, basically convinces Teller that he needs to leave. He's not safe, he's this, he's that. If you really love Lily, then you'll leave, kind of thing. So he makes a choice and he leaves. And he doesn't want to go back. Well, his guardian follows him. And so that's where DM finds Teller and whatever. And they kind of get into it a little bit, but the Sophos crown brings Teller to make sure that DM stays, which is heartbreaking. So then you have Luther, who stows away, and he's trying to get Teller, and you've got Perth, who's the guardian of Teller, and they're trying to get her to get off the island, and she's like, no, I can't go, and she like kind of explains it to Luther, and Luther's like, I'll figure it out, whatever, and she's like, you have to go, and so they end up getting on her Gwyvern. Yeah, Gwyvern. And they leave. The problem is, Teller is grabbed by, like, Soros? Is it Soros? I forget her name. The Gwyvern. The Gwyvern grabs Teller in her claws. Well, Teller then grabs Perth and Luther with one hand. But Luther is slipping. So for Teller to save Luther, he has to let go of Perth to grab both hands with Luther so Luther doesn't fall on the island and die. And Perth lands on the island. He gets up, he looks over at DM, and I'm pretty positive he either salutes or he smiles or he does both, and then he just dies. And it's terrible. But then, and this is where I need to find out what's going on in the fourth book, okay? Because then you have the Ignos King, and he stabs DM with a Godstone dagger. So not only did he kill Umbros, he's also trying to kill DM. And so the end of the book is her going dark. So I'm pretty positive she lives. because there wouldn't be a 4th book if she didn't. And we are going to find out that she's immune to Godstone. And I'm sure at some point, something will get figured out and she'll leave the island. And her and Luther will get back together. But I don't know. I don't know yet. And it's driving me nuts because I need a release date. And I don't have one. So there's that. That was my retelling of everything because I just can't right now. And obviously you can tell that I need the 4th book, and I'm probably going to be dying until I get the release, at least the release date for the 4th book. But overall, I love... Hi! I'm doing a video.
Propane's out.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do I need to go get it? I will. I just didn't want to pay $20-some.
Don't worry about it.
I'll go get it. I don't remember where I'm at. So overall, the book though, I just absolutely love the writing. I love the world. I love the characters. And obviously you know that since like my other review from book 1 and book 2. This was just so much like more. Like you got more of the world, which was great. More of trying to understand DM and all of that. And I'm pretty sure there's still more that we're going to find out because there's still questions. But the chemistry she has with her friends, with her, with Luther, like it is absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't want anything else. And I'm at the point of like, I cannot wait for the 4th book. And I think it's the final book, to be quite fair. We'll see. I think we're kind of in that part of the series where like it's at the tip top. And we're going to keep it there for most of the book and then finally go off into the sunset and be happy, hopefully. I don't know. The author's ripping my heart out, so we'll see. But yes, Heat of the Everflame, 5 stars. I can't, what would you want more from this? The author has written a fantastic story and I cannot wait to finish the rest of it. Let me know where you're at in the Spark of the Everflame journey. If you read them, if you haven't read them. Let me know if you are deciding to put it on your TBR or not. I would absolutely love to know. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust.